Today we are covering, drum roll please, GOLO. Now, the funny thing about GOLO, have not covered a lot of content around them for the longest time. I think I did one video. I did a series back in December, so this was a while back. I did a series called The 12 Days of Diet Culture, where each day I broke down a different diet and kind of did basically a Fuck Diet Culture Friday, but in a 12-day span is how I viewed that series. So I think that was the first time I like publicly addressed GOLO, but I've gotten so many requests for it and DMs for it. And then I think that people want, because it's like, oh, my mom's doing GOLO, or my dad's doing GOLO, or my aunt's doing GOLO. Like, can you create something on this so I can send it to them? So I'm always happy to be that resource for you. Now, I want to put a few disclaimers at the beginning of this episode. One, I am a registered dietitian, certified intuitive eating counselor, and certified personal trainer. And this podcast is made for informational and educational purposes only. This is not meant to be substitute for medical advice. If you have your own, multidisciplinary team that helps you on your journey of physical, mental, and emotional health, that is who you should chat with if you have questions. But I am going to share my personal opinions on GOLO as a dietitian, trainer, and certified intuitive eating counselor, and really just review all the diet culture bullshit about it. Now, I also love to state this at the beginning of every Fuck Diet Culture Friday episode, that there is no guilt or shame that needs to be felt if you are currently doing GOLO, if you have done GOLO in the past, if you've considered GOLO, if whatever your relationship is to GOLO. I want to make it explicitly clear that as somebody who has dedicated their life to helping people heal their relationship with food and body image, every single person that I come in contact with has an extensive dieting history, if not clinically diagnosed eating disorder. So we never need to feel guilt or shame for having a diet history, for going on diets. I want to make this clear that I am anti-diet culture, not anti-human beings who diet, because your girl has dieted for pretty much all of my late teens and majority of my 20s. So been there, done that. I never did GOLO. I think this was like luckily after my dieting era ended. So let's just break it down. Now, one thing about GOLO and truly a lot of diets that are out there on the market is that grinds my gears about them is they pretend to not be a diet. It's like, look, you can, you sell what you want to sell, you put your fat phobic marketing out there, but at least call a spade, right? Like, tell us that you're a diet. So GOLO, the product, is spelled GOLO. And so if you're on, I have their website pulled up. So if you are watching this, you'll see my eyes going up to my screen to kind of just reference some of their verbiage. So it says, go lose weight. I can't even get through without laughing. Go look great. Go love life. And this is not to make light of their terrible fat phobia that is just smacking you in the face as soon as you open their website. But it makes me laugh because, first of all, anything that promotes intentional weight loss is a diet. That's what dieting is, right? Dieting, the intention of dieting is to shrink the body, to take up less space, right? To restrict. So let's just call it what it is. But what they're insinuating with their slogan here, right? Go lose weight, go look great, go love life. What this says to me as soon as I read that is, oh, okay. So I will lose weight, which will then make me look better, which will then make me love my life and just fix all my fucking problems. And so that just, whoo, they just come in hot with a zinger, right? When you get on their website. And so, as someone who works out of the weight neutral paradigm and is a certified intuitive eating counselor, I can promise you that you don't need to intentionally shrink your body to look great or to love your life. So, that right there just tells me whoever's on their marketing team, whoever created this, is extremely fat phobic and believes that in order to look good or in order to love yourself or your life, that you have to shrink yourself, which is absolutely fucking false. So let's continue on, shall we? So again, I think one of the big takeaways, like when I scanned their website and when I kind of did a deep dive before I did the video back in December, was how many times I saw that they had co-opted the intuitive eating language, and but then again saying that it's not a diet, co-opting the intuitive eating language, even writing things on here like overcoming the diet mentality, right? Which when we look at intuitive eating, principle number 1 is reject the diet mentality. So when GOLO is saying you're going to overcome the diet mentality, but then come do our diet, that's really fucking confusing. And so again, I know I already said this, but I want to really hammer this home. Is I think one of the most common questions I get when people send me any product, any program, any weight loss, whatever, um, detox, cleanse, right? What is the intention behind the program? Because if it is intentional weight loss, it is a diet. And we could go on so many tangents here, but I want to make this clear that as an intuitive eating professional, I am not anti-human beings who lose weight. Okay. I am anti-intentional weight loss equating to worth and health, because we know with the research that in order to have higher self-esteem, in order to love yourself, you don't need to shrink yourself. And in order to have better health outcomes, we can uncouple that from intentionally shrinking the body. So when there's programs like this, using using the intuitive eating language and saying, overcome the diet mentality, but take our supplements and lose weight and love life. It's like, why the fuck do you got to do this? This, like, again, I don't care that they exist. Diet culture, I think, is always going to exist, but I want to encourage you to to see the difference of, at least there's some diets that at least say they're a diet, right? They're like, I'm all about weight loss, and they let it, they're very clear. GOLO, on the other hand, is trying to be sneaky. And that's what probably makes me the most mad about these. But I did an interview last week with Rolling Stone magazine, and the interviewer was incredible. And she was asking me, or they were asking me all different questions. But one thing they asked me is, how do you fight against diet culture? How do you take diet culture down? And I made it really clear in my answers, and I say this all the time, so I felt like it's important to say it again. It's not my responsibility to tear down diet culture, although I call it out all the time. And I think these are helpful resources and podcasts for people. Like, it's not my job to convince people not to diet, right? Or not to do GOLO, or not to do whatever diet they're considering. It's my job to present the intuitive eating framework, right? To talk about how I help people make peace with food and body. And then the people that want to do that are going to find this information. So you won't see me fighting in people's comment sections. You will not see me commenting on people's videos saying this is terrible advice or whatever. I save my mental energy for the things that fill up my cup, like these fun podcast episodes and the coaching that we do at Find Food Freedom, and the What the Actual Fork podcast, right? And just spreading the intuitive eating language. But it is important to note that there are tons and tons and tons of diet programs within diet culture that are now trying to take the intuitive eating language and put it, like, take their diet program, right? Metaphorically put it in a little box. And I picture like a pile of shit. Like they're taking their pile of shit, that's their diet. They're putting it in a box. They're wrapping that box with a bow. Maybe they put some glitter on it. It's all shiny and glittery. It's still a box of shit, right? It doesn't matter what you package it in. It's still a box of shit. That's the analogy that I'm going to use right now. So that's what I see when I see GOLO, is I see them trying to use the intuitive eating language. They're trying to get people away from dieting and then give them their shitty diet. Okay. So what's another red flag? I like to tell people, okay, what's the intention behind the program, right? If it's intentional weight loss, boom, it's a diet. Now let's go to number 2. What else can you look out for? Supplements. Supplements is a big one. Now, that's not to say that all supplements are bad. I am a food first kind of gal, but let's talk about 2 different things. First, there's like actual prescription medications. So I'm not talking about prescription medications. If you take prescription medications for any reason, right? There is no shame or guilt with that. That is needed in many cases. So now let's look at the supplement industry. I'm talking more under this like wellness umbrella. This is where if there is a program telling you that you have to take this supplement, one, let's go back to the intention of, is it for intentional weight loss? And 2, them feeling like you have to take this thing or you should take this thing in order to better your health. Or again, back to the other, like GOLO is just explicitly clear where they're like, take this pill to lose weight. They're not even trying to fucking hide it. But other programs I have seen will try to push a pill to say, like, air quotes, better your health. Well, I'm here to tell you that we know with the determinants of health, there are many things that we can do that will improve our health, uncoupled from changing the size of our body. Some of those which are increasing our nutrient density, hydration status, stress management, sleep, movement that we enjoy, so on and so forth. All of those things I can work on and I can process through, and they will lead to better health outcomes uncoupled from intentionally shrinking my body. If my body changes, so be it. But again, this is uncoupled. So that was a huge red flag for me on GOLO's site when I looked on their site and I saw it's called, under their shop page, release. And they try to tell you that, so you have to take this pill in order to lose weight. And they try to say, like, how much weight do you want to lose? Because if you want to lose more weight, then basically they're trying to upsell you in that you need more of this supplement then if you're trying to lose more weight. So it's just, this is where intuitive eating is so important, in the sense of, I get all the time, I get trolls or haters on social media, like up in my comment section, that don't truly understand what I do. That'll be like, stop shaming people for wanting to lose weight. Stop shaming people for wanting to better their health. And I've said it and I'll say it again. I am not anti-human beings losing weight. I am not anti-human beings who genuinely want to improve their health. I, as an intuitive eating counselor, am extremely encouraging of health promoting behaviors if they genuinely improve your health physically, mentally, and emotionally. And so programs like GOLO that are just spewing intentional weight loss, weight loss, weight loss, weight loss, love your life, weight loss, be healthy, weight loss, look great. Like, it is dripping with fat phobia, because what they are saying is that if you lose weight, you will better your health. If you lose weight, you will accept yourself. If you lose weight, you will look amazing. And that's the shit that I don't subscribe to. And so I want to be explicitly clear that on today's episode of Fuck Diet Culture Friday, GOLO is in fact a diet. regardless of what their website says, regardless of how much glitter they try to put on their pile of shit, they are still a diet. So let's go back to the disclaimer earlier. I'm here to give you this information and you can take what you want and leave the rest behind. So if you're like, you know what, Sammy, I still want to try GOLO, do you, whatever you want to do. I'm not here to tell you what you can and can't do. I'm here to just deliver this information and kindly remind you that there's 0 randomized controlled trials that show sustained weight loss greater than 2 years for any diet. So if you do GOLO, shoot me a DM 2 years after. How we doing? How we feeling? Did it get you that weight loss that it promised you? And if the answer is no, please know that there's nothing wrong with you. GOLO and diet culture is the one industry, specifically diet culture, but GOLO is a part of diet culture, right? Diet culture is the one industry that says you failed, you fucked up, when really the product and the service and the program has set you up for failure. Oh, so that concludes this Fuck Diet Culture Friday. I feel like it was a very direct one where it's like they make it pretty clear, other than them trying to adopt a lot of the intuitive eating language, they make it clear that they are all about intentional weight loss. And so would I encourage you doing GOLO? No. Do I think that you have full body autonomy and you can do whatever the hell you want? Yes. And just know that if you're ever ready to heal your relationship with food and body and walk away from a lifetime of intentional weight loss and trying to shrink your body, then we are always here for you at Find Food Freedom. You can actually head over to findfoodfreedomresources.com. Again, that's findfoodfreedomresources.com. And that'll have all of the current happenings with Find Food Freedom. So there's a free training on there. Of course, there's links to our podcasts. There's our monthly membership, which we have a different masterclass every single month. And this month, happy August, this month, we are doing at the end of this month, Monday, the 28th at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we are doing a masterclass entitled How to Stop Comparing Yourself to the Younger, Smaller version of you. I did a Instagram poll the other day and over 2,000 people voted, which was like, it was insane engagement that I never get on polls about how they don't compare themselves often to other people, but it's more a smaller, younger version of themselves. And as soon as I got a hold of that information, I was like, we're doing a masterclass on that. So again, if you head over to findfoodfreedomresources.com, you can sign up for that masterclass, which is coming up at the end of August, entitled How to Stop Comparing Yourself to Your Younger, Smaller Self. And we'll be going into lots of body image details there. So thank you so much for being here. If you liked this episode, if you liked any episode, please rate, review, subscribe. Also, in your review, please make sure to just leave a comment of what you want to see more of, what you liked, what you didn't like. The more you share with me, the more that I can continue to create episodes that are exactly what you want to hear. So thanks so much for being here, and I'll see you next week.